Welcome, time travelers, and welcome to another episode. So, as always, if you're new to the channel and enjoy learning history from around the world, one event at a time, don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. Without further ado, let's get into it. On this day in 1913, during the War of 1812, a British army with some 1,000 Indian allies under the famed leader Tecumseh was defeated by U.S. troops in the Battle of the Thames in what is now Ontario, Canada. Moving on to 1877, when a small band of Nez Perce warriors under the leadership of Chief Joseph surrendered to General Nelson A. Miles after holding off U.S. forces that had tracked them through Idaho, Yellowstone Park, and Montana. In 1882, American educator and inventor Robert Goddard, generally acknowledged to be the father of modern rocketry, was born. 10 years later, in 1892, the Dalton brothers, a famous American outlaws in the Old West, rode into Coffeyville, Kansas, intent upon robbing the town's two banks, but they were recognized and, coming out of one bank, were met by wild gunfire from vigilantes. 1918 is when Allied forces broke through the Hindenburg Line in World War I. In 1962, actually, for the next several events, we're going to stay in the TV/movie genre. So in 1961, the American romantic comedy Breakfast at Tiffany's and an adaptation of Truman Capote's novella had its world premiere. It became especially known for Audrey Hepburn's performance as the free-spirited Holly Gottlieb. The following year, in 1962, is when the first installment of the James Bond film series, Dr. No, had its world premiere. The British spy film was adapted from Ian Fleming's novel and starring Sean Connery. 1969 is when the British television series Monty Python's Flying Circus debuted on the BBC and provided to be a watershed for TV comedy around the world. The following year, in 1970, PBS began broadcasting on American television, and it became known for various programs, notably the children's show Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, starring Fred Rogers. In 1975, English actress Kate Winslet, who was known for her sharply drawn portrayals of spirited and unusual women, was born. Now let's step away from the TV and move on to 1983, when Lech Walesa, leader of Poland's Solidarity Union received the Nobel Prize for Peace. 2 years before the turn of the century, in 1998, the Judiciary Committee of the U.S. House of Representatives recommended impeachment hearings against President Bill Clinton. Now, a year after the turn of the century, in 2001, Barry Bonds of the San Francisco Giants broke Mark McGwire's single-season home run record when he hit his 71st and 72nd home run of the season and finished the season with 73. 6 years later, in 2007, following years of speculation and denials, American track star Marion Jones pleaded guilty to steroid use, and several months later, she was stripped of her 5 Olympic medals, 3 of which were gold. 2011 is when American businessman Steve Jobs, a pioneer of the personal computer era, who co-founded Apple and transformed it into one of the world's most successful companies, died at the age of 56. And a final event happened 2 years later, in 2013, when a man known as Abu Anas al-Libi, who was believed to be a leader in Al-Qaeda and thought to have planned the 1998 bombing of the U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, is seized by U.S. military operatives in Tripoli, Libya. And with that, we return to 2024 and our current history. Now let's head over to the animal kingdom for our 54th animal fact. One with the largest insect to ever live was the dragonfly, with a wingspan of over 75 centimeters. 2.5 feet across. They're called Meganeuropsis, and were around 247 million years ago. They were proficient predators with large mandibles that were used to capture fish, amphibians, and insects. Now, let's head into the science lab for our 54th science fact. This is an interesting one because people can say that they're allergic to certain animals like dogs, cats, fish, etc. But did you know that cats can be allergic to humans? Animals can be allergic to our dead skin cells, also known as dander. These allergic reactions can be just like ours, too, including breathing difficulty and skin irritation. That one I actually knew, but the more you know. And as always, if you're new to this channel and enjoy learning history, one event at a time, not only from the US, but also from around the world, don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and turn on all notifications.